All right, so the BB22 finale, really sad to see it done with. I look forward to Big Brother all year, and now it's over and we have to wait until next year. So I was hoping there'd be a celebrity or maybe a winter season something, but we gotta wait, but it will be worth the wait. So a lot to talk about, 2 hours worth. Wow. All right, so the part 2 of the HOH, Cody versus Enzo. Of course, Cody dominated it. It was funny to see these bobblehead house guests. Ian especially looked pretty funny. But Enzo struggled a lot when he misread the 2 house guests versus 3 house guests. And it took him a while to get it. It was just really painful to watch it. This competition was made for Cody. I actually really enjoyed this competition. It looked difficult, but it was also enjoyable to watch and it looked interesting to me. Cody definitely made the smart choice by jumping off the beam and going up the stairs. It definitely saved him time. I saw that Cody was doing well, but I didn't expect him to do that well. 4 minutes versus Enzo that had like 30 something minutes. That's a huge difference, and Enzo didn't take lightly to it. He was having a little bit of a breakdown. He was definitely very upset about it, and he was guessing Cody did like 13, 15 minutes, 11 minutes, whatever. And then Cody does 4 minutes, and he's like, ah. You could see him just going off. It was just like lighting a match, and like everything was burning. It was really uncomfortable. Nicole was crying and Cody looked very uncomfortable. It was just, it's just like when somebody has a temper tantrum and you just don't really know what to do about it. So you're just like there, like, are you done? Enzo was totally reading our mind when he was saying that we're thinking about him not taking out Nicole. And we're just like, yeah. But then at the end, it just kind of worked out for him. So I guess it really doesn't make much of a difference. Cody was going to win no matter what, but it just would have been so enjoyable. So, jury segment, this little round table before the vote and before they ask the final 2 the questions. No Dr. Will. And that was pretty sad. I mean, I know we got our dose of Dr. Will this season, but I wanted to see him in this round table. I'm just like, something's missing. Something's not right. They didn't seem surprised at all when Christmas came in. Duh. She was kind of the odd one out. Enzo, Nicole, Cody, just a trio, and then there's Christmas, so it's kind of inevitable. I loved hearing Ian saying that Nicole didn't take ownership, and he respects people taking ownership like Cody did, and Nicole just didn't do that when he got voted out. It was just kind of like, I tried my best, blah, 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 but, you know, Ian's somebody that respects people that play the game. He respects good players and honest people. So, just like a lot of them, just be honest about it. Own up to it. So, the jury was saying pros about each of them, Enzo, Nicole, Cody, but I just still saw a Cody win. I know they try to make it seem more interesting and want them to say pros about each one, cons about each one, but I just really couldn't see Cody not winning. And yeah, like, even I was thinking about it. They were talking about Enzo and how he's never been nominated. He has a flawless social game. You know, I was even getting a little convinced, but, you know, then there's Cody. Even though they were saying cons about his social game, Kevin seemed a little bitter. Then it goes back to he has a great social game. So it's just contradicting. And then he's won all these comps and he had all these alliances. So it's just like, it's not really much negative you could say. The last HOH was the vinyl exam, and I really loved this competition. I thought it was really interesting and fun. It was a great concept and I really enjoyed watching it. It was that comp where they had 3 choices. One of them is false, and they had to pick out the false statement. And it had to do with each of the jurors, so that's always fun. I love hearing about the jurors, especially when, you know, they're people you like and people you're rooting for and they got evicted too early. So, yeah, I think it was just a bit of karma. Nicole getting that Ian question wrong and kind of costing her this competition. Of course, it would have stayed with a tie because Cody got all of them right, so they would have had to do a tiebreaker, which she might have won, but I guess we'll never know. But her getting that Ian question wrong, the only question she got wrong in this, cost her the win, and it's just like, that's what you get. But may I add, Ian looked pretty hot in that techno record. I was digging the look. So when we get back from commercial break, we see Cody really going through it about who he's gonna take, and he looked like he was struggling big time, and Nicole looked hysterical. She was crying and the whole theatrics of it, and I was like, okay, this doesn't look good. I was really leaning towards Cody taking Nicole, but then I saw her like that and I was like, oh my god, did he tell her something? Did he tell her it wasn't gonna happen? I was like, okay, let's see what happens. I mean, they were all pretty much emotional, but of course Nicole was the most emotional. This was definitely familiar territory for Cody on his first season. He won the last HOH and chose to take Derek and lost. So this time around, he wanted to make sure he made the right choice. And I think against either one of them, he would have won. But I don't know. I guess he wanted to pick the person that would be the easiest to beat. Or maybe whoever he thought deserved that second place money. Honestly, Nicole's already won. And if I saw someone like Enzo who has kids, lives a very humble life, needs the money, I'd want to give him the money, you know? It's just, especially considering that he made it to Final 3. It's been 10 years and he's back now. I probably would have been leaning towards that, like Cody. I don't know if that's the reason why he did it, or it was just solely based on loyalty and their connection, whatever it was. But Nicole was devastated and so surprised. I was a little bit shocked too, to be honest, just because I think I was leaning towards him picking her more recently. But yeah, so Julie spoke with Nicole and Nicole was genuinely shocked. She seemed like she couldn't even fit in her own skin, like she was just gonna blow up. I honestly felt a little bad for her because she was practicing her speech. She was truly ready for it. She truly thought that Cody was going to choose her, and she says she would have chose Cody. And of course she spoke to Julie about this, and she's in a different position than Cody because Cody has that relationship with Enzo that she doesn't have. But ultimately, you know, Cody got the choice, so it is what it is. She's won before. And he probably, I think he even said it, there's a chance that she could win again. There is a chance that people see her making it to Final 2 as a huge accomplishment as a previous winner. So he just didn't want to take that chance. Day said it would be smart if they got Nicole out right before Nicole came to join in on the jury getting ready to vote. And I think it would have been Cody that would have been the smart choice to get out, but they didn't get the opportunity. And once that doesn't happen, you already know it's going to be a Cody win. And then when Nicole joins them and Day's face is like, that's right. Kind of like you get what you deserve. And then the close-up on Ian also, it was just enjoyable. So they were asking the final 2 questions, and they're pretty basic questions, pretty basic things that you can prepare for. I liked Cody talking about his big move, getting Ian out, and kind of manipulating and planting those seeds, and he's like, I knew Ian was a monster ready to explode, and Ian's just like nodding like yes, yes, yes. Like, always flatter the jury to get on their good side, always compliment them, make them feel like they're a great player. It makes them feel better. Regardless of this season not being what many people expected, I'm glad we got it, and I thank CBS, Big Brother, for this, because I don't even know when we'll get this again, if we ever get this again. And I got to see some of my favorite players play again, which is something I didn't think I'd ever get. So yeah, I'm getting a little emotional thinking about it, because being a fan of this game and seeing these people come together regardless of what happened, it's still something to be happy about, especially during these times. The main thing I wanted to see from Cody this time around was that he learned from his past season, his first season, that he learned from his mistakes, and he surely has, and he has said how he's played a different game, and I respect that, and obviously the jury did as well. So Nicole got to ask Cody a question, and I felt bad just even looking at her. She couldn't even really look at Cody. She was just, didn't even really know what to do with herself. It was uncomfortable to watch. I definitely felt pity, and I think Cody's uninvited from the wedding. Enzo killed a lot of time in his speech walking around saying, yo. I was like, yeah, this was exactly what I expected from his speech. And then after he was saying that the jury was laughing at him, and Cody was like, no, they were just laughing at like how you were like pacing around, just being Enzo. But yeah, Enzo's speech revolved around using Cody kind of as a shield since he won all those comps, and the fact that this season was easier than his first season, which I'm like, don't think this is the best tactic for a speech. So Cody's speech was by far a lot better. He started off strong by saying that Enzo kind of was on the block because he won the final HOH and got to choose who he wanted to take and who to evict. And in fact, he actually was never on the block. So yeah, Cody was never on the block, which wasn't really mentioned. It was all about Enzo. But Cody made sure to mention that in his last pitch. So I really loved seeing the pre-jury. Always fun seeing Janelle, Kaysar, Bay, Keisha, Nicole A. Even though Nicole A didn't even really get to talk, they like got questions and Nicole A was just like there. But it just be like that sometimes. We just saw them like an episode ago, so it is what it is, I guess. I truly wish Janelle got to do what she wanted. She wrote on a piece of paper before going in the house, get Cody and Enzo on the block. That's what she wanted to do. She didn't get around to doing it, but imagine how epic that would have been. The two people that made it to the very end. And Julie even said it. She's like, yeah, that's true. Someone did find that paper and you did write that. Kaysar spoke about not being able to rally the troops, and yeah, it was devastating to watch that. Honestly, I didn't want to relive thinking about all of that. He just couldn't change the status quo. Cody had the power and it just wasn't happening no matter how hard he tried. And then Kevin saying he wished he would have worked with Janelle and Kaysar, and Janelle's face is just like, Bae saying the Slick Six should have never happened, and talking about her strained relationship with Danny and Tyler, and Julie was saying that she hopes that gets mended with Tyler, and then kind of an afterthought, her and Danny as well. It was funny, and you know, yeah, we had that little bit of drama. Last question went to Keisha, and she spoke about Cody not knowing her name, and Cody said, it was all a joke. I hope he knows her name by now, because it's not funny anymore. So Julie revealed the votes, and of course Ian voted for Cody. Like I said, Ian respects the game, respects game players, so I knew he would vote for Cody. When I saw Days vote for Cody, I was like, it's over, it's likely going to be unanimous. I thought maybe some pity votes for Enzo, which I thought could have come from Day, Kevin, maybe Nicole, I don't know. But that did not happen. Once I saw Dave's vote, I was like, oh, this is likely going to be unanimous. Which is, I think Julie said, the second time. First time was Dan Giesling's first season against Memphis. So yeah, Kevin wasn't even bitter towards Cody. They all voted for him, and he definitely deserves it. So I'm glad Cody won. I feel like he deserved it and gets to take this money home to his family, his girlfriend, and Enzo gets the second place cash prize, which isn't so bad. And then America's favorite player, Day and Tyler got the most votes, and Day ended up taking it, and she looked genuinely so happy. I'm glad she gets to take this money for her and her daughter, take a nice trip. It'll be really nice. She deserves it. She added a lot of entertainment to this season. So yeah, that is it. And that's a wrap for BB22. It was a pleasure talking about this with you guys and going back and forth. So let me know your thoughts about the finale in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.